Welcome back to Tales of the 39, the tales of 39 years of Dungeons and Dragons, because I had no life. Um, Today's video is a little bit shorter. I have noticed that some of the stories of 39 years of Dungeons and Dragons take a little splaining, because there's background to the main point, and then there's background to that background, and then there's background to the background of the background. In yesterday's video, I started talking about Wands of Wonder and wound up talking about Deathlink, which was a spell that was in a second edition Forgotten Realms hardback. I've never seen it printed any other place or used any other place. And how it all tied into the worldwide event that had changed first edition into second edition. So there's D&D. I mean, they just had their 50-year anniversary. There's a lot of lore, a lot of stuff going on. And when you've been running it for 39 years, a lot of stuff happens. Now, if you'd like to play with us and, join into the 39-year saga, we are currently, as I record this video today, playing on Thursday nights at 6:30 Central Time on Discord. Down below in the video, there'll be some contact information for me, some Facebook, some X, maybe something else, whatever I'm using at the time. Just contact us, and if there are open seats at the table, there are sometimes, not always. In 39 years, people have come and gone, and then come again and gone again and come again and gone again as things happen, like babies are born and shifts at jobs are changed and stuff like that. So, but if you can't play, just, welcome to the channel, because this is where we share, 39 years of Dungeons and Dragons experience and with you, the audience. So today's story is a little shorter. And it's something that kind of amazes me. So back when I was in high school, and I just had a birthday yesterday. I'm 54 now. And so it's been, quite a bit of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not going to run out of stories. I mean, I had a long, consideration with myself before I started this form of the channel, because the channel had other forms before Tales of the 39. But before I started this form of the channel, I had a long consideration with myself as to whether I really thought I would run out of stories. I'm like, no, it's been 39 years of D&D. So, but this particular story kind of amazes me because it's kind of, I don't know, I guess it's kind of sweet or something, because it's sort of like the memories that are made over the years that just never go away, and the camaraderie, and then how those memories are shared with new people that come into the group, and like little stories and legends grow and stuff like that. This is very simple. I didn't expect this to become like a living legend or anything, but apparently it is. So back when I was in high school, when that Stranger Things Netflix show came on, I compared my real life timeline to those characters in the show. And I figured out that my real life was 1 year behind those characters. So like in season 1, when they're 7th graders, I was in 6th grade that year, like 1983 or whatever it was. I don't have the math in front of me right now, but I actually did the math at one point. And then like season 2, when they're 8th graders, I was in 7th grade. And season 3, when they're high school freshmen, I was in 8th grade. And so my real life was like 1 year behind the fictional characters from Stranger Things. But so back in those days, playing D&D back then, there was a particular long story. The module series, it's a trilogy. It's called Desert of Desolation. And the party was, I think it's for, I think the beginning of the module is like for levels 5 to 7. And by the time you get to the end, it's like for levels 5 to 9, because the characters are considered to have probably maybe leveled a little bit during the course of the 3 modules. But at those levels, party, usually there's no teleportation, there's no plane traveling. The party just isn't powerful enough to just bip themselves around the campaign world map. And so the party actually has to physically travel across the desert, and thirst and starvation are a thing. And yeah, so the party was in danger of actually starving to death. Um, they had consumed all their food supplies. And we were gamer nerds, and we were doing the math and marking off the amount of food that was eaten each day and stuff. And in the 80s in first edition, the Wilderness Survival Guide had come out, and it got really pedantic with rules like, small characters like halflings and gnomes didn't eat as much. Now, that depends on if your halfling has adjusted to adventuring or not. If there's some kind of Shire halfling like they have in Lord of the Rings, and they're talking about their second breakfast and stuff, I mean, that might be a little different. But, in the Lord of the Rings, Bilbo did slim down by the time he came back to the Shire from his adventures in The Hobbit. But generally, unless you're talking about a rotund, well-fed Shire halfling or something, an adventuring halfling or a gnome, small characters like that, they're not going to eat as much. And the Wilderness Survival Guide actually had math and stuff, crunchy math that showed how much a party would eat and stuff like that. And I think they were fine on water because there was a cleric who could just keep casting create water every day. And so I think water was fine, but food was the problem. And I was rolling the random encounter tables for the desert, that were in the written module and everything. And I rolled this giant desert tortoise. And the party, I at first I thought it was just kind of like a boring encounter, because there were a whole lot of other encounters with really dangerous monsters and stuff that would have been more exciting to run. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you come upon this big desert tortoise, and the party got all excited, and they were like, yay, we're saved, because there was a half-elf bard in the group. Now, in the little AI video that I've kind of made to go with this video today, it portrayed the AI kind of portrayed the bard as a girl. The bard was actually a guy, but I'm not going to redo the video. I'm just sorry, John. My name is John, but John was also the name of the guy playing the bard. And so Rache Oak Willow was a male. But I'm just leaving the AI video as is. I'm not remaking it. It's all right, John. It will be. But sorry about that. But yeah, so there was a half-elf bard in the group, and he when they killed the giant tortoise, and he cooked it in its own shell. They tipped the shell over, and he made this giant bowl of soup. And again, I don't think the tortoise was as big as the one that you might be seeing if you're watching this instead of just listening to it, and you're seeing the little AI video that I made to accompany it. I don't think the giant tortoise was really that big, but it was pretty big, and so the party was saved. They ate tortoise meat until they were able to secure more food supplies. And so I think when they did get more food supplies, it's because they finished their little wilderness trek, and they'd made it to the next actual dungeon map part of the ancient ruins buried under the desert, blah blah blah. So I think they'd made it to the next dungeon map part of the saga, and they were able to take the supplies of monsters that they killed, whether it was hobgoblins or orcs or whatever it was. Oops, did I just say orcs are monsters? Oh, sorry, not sorry, Watsy. But anyway, yeah, so they were able to take the supplies of enemies and stuff like that. Yeah, so the thing is, this turtle soup, this obviously isn't, in my opinion, this isn't as spectacular as some of the other stories that I've told on this channel, about, the plane traveling Nightmare, Anti-Paladin Steed. Or yesterday we talked about the ninja and the wizard that got death linked, or just some of the other things that have happened here on Tales of the 39. But the thing is that Turtle Soup has gone down through the years. I mean, this is a high school story, and I'm 54 now. And there are still people in my D&D group. Now, they haven't consistently played all 39 years. You know, like stuff happens in life, you know, that people have changed shifts at their jobs or moved away or what, and then the internet enables us to connect again, or, you know, whatever. People leave, they come back over the course of 39 years. And but there are people at the table now that remember the turtle soup, and they fondly talk about the turtle soup because it goes back to those memories, or tortoise soup, excuse me, for people that are pedantic between turtle and tortoise. But yeah, the tortoise soup, they might, they just remember being the high school D&D players, you know, just desperate that their characters were going to die of starvation. I mean, what a way to go for your D&D character. I mean, you know, how did your D&D character die? You know, did you take a bunch of damage? Did the dice just fail you on a saving throw? I mean, what happened? Did a Medusa turn you to stone? I mean, like, what happened? No, we starved to death. You know, that's not a very glorious way to lose your D&D character. So they were pretty desperate, and that tortoise soup saved their lives, and they kind of, you know, just a bunch of guys in an attic and kind of role played eating the turtle soup. This is good. This is really good. So it was just a neat little nerdy high school kid memory from D&D that's been preserved down the years, I guess. To me, it was just I probably wouldn't remember it. I didn't think it was a real memorable encounter at the time, but my party members, they remember it to this day. And the tortoise soup is like a fond memory. So you never know what's going to happen in D&D. So if you enjoyed this little story, we'll have a little more exciting one tomorrow. And if you like my stories in general, whether they're from my D&D campaign or not, I am an author. I write science fiction and fantasy. I'll put some links in the description to some of my books and stuff. I'm not at liberty to totally speak about everything right now, but one of my books is with a publisher right now, pending, you know, possible contract and stuff like that. So that's exciting. You know, one of my books has been nominated for the Golden Duck Award. That was a while ago. That was like back in 2008 or something like that. But yeah, if you like my books, or if you like my stories, check out my books and stuff like that. And if you're into D&D, you know, come join us or just hang out with us or whatever on Thursday nights. I'll have contact information below, or just keep listening to the stories of our adventures on Tales of the 39. We'll see you next time.